A friend of mine did say to me that afternoon public speaking is the cemetery of public speaking. Because you just come out of lunch, and if you combine it with jet lag, there goes the cemetery. Well, first of all, a lot has been said about the problem. I'm not going to come back on the problems. I want to just share with you what I call the African perspective in addressing the problem. And a lot has been said about linking conflict and war with food crisis with the expert on the panel. I'm not going to come back to that. I want to focus in linking climate change and food crisis in Africa by making 3 points within the 3 minutes allocated to me. By saying, number one, when you look at the link between climate change and food crisis, there's what I call the human face of climate change. And that is the drought in the Horn of Africa, the drought in the Sahel, where population, the most vulnerable, are losing their livelihood and in some cases, actually their lives. So therefore, we're not talking about technicality, we're talking about actually something that affects the life of many Africans across the continent. So therefore, it goes beyond just technicality, talking about actually people's life. So the question is, what do we do about those problems? I think 3 points. Number one, leadership. And that is why about 10 years ago, the African Union decided that it can't be business as usual. In other words, if you wait till the crisis happens, it's too late. So the question, how do we actually anticipate but not do it alone? But do it with the partners you have on the panel, but also partners in the room, but with Africa leading. If you look at the African risk capacity, which I lead today, it's not only an African solution, it's also FCDOs from the bilateral here. And some of you were at COP27, it was recognized that the global climate crisis can only be addressed by global solidarity. So that's the number one thing that we need to make work. Otherwise, we're not going to achieve result. Second, it is also to look at what exactly can we do together as partners. 3 things very precisely. And that is, my colleague from the UN talked about earlier. How do we actually mainstream early warning systems so policymakers can actually make informed decisions on the basis of data, not in generalities, but also using data and early warning system to make decisions. Early warning systems do save lives. Just to give an example, in Madagascar, the fact that we made tropical cyclone early warning system available to the government 5 days before the tropical cyclone hit helped the government to save about 5,000 people from harm's way. So this is not about technical, it's about lives being saved. But the big question is, how do we mainstream the early warning system in a way that African policymakers can actually make informed decisions? And that is what I call the AAA of early warning system: affordability, accessibility, and availability of early warning systems, so decisions are made based on data. Second, contingency planning within the African government, it's not embedded in public policy culture when it comes to disaster management. Many African countries, and I used to be one of those ministers, will think you wait till it happened, by then it's too late. So the question, how do we actually mainstream that early warning system, the contingency planning, in the way the government understands you don't wait till it happens to make decisions. Third, equally important, and this is something where we innovate, how do we leverage the insurance market whereby we can pull the risk of African government being tropical cyclone, a drought, in a way the government can actually anticipate, so that through a premium system, government can actually pay that premium, they would have access to additional resources and response in a way that it's not too late. In the business that we're in, every second content of disasters. So therefore, if you wait, it may be too late. What I just described to you is not a theory. We've done it for the past 10 years. We provided about $1 billion worth of coverage to African governments, provided about $134 million of payout, but more importantly, protected about 150 million Africans because of what I just described to you. The question today, it needs to be scaled up. What does it take to scale it up? Number one, we need to make sure that early warning system, as pushed by the Secretary General, is mainstream across Africa so that informed decisions are made based on early warning system. Second, insurance is a solution, but premium is not always affordable. So therefore, as with FCDO and other partners, we're providing subsidies where necessary as a way of building the culture within African governments whereby that the insurance is part of the solutions, not part of the problem. So I believe as we head to COP28, with loss and damage to be talked about, there's an initiative by African for Africa that need to be scaled up in a way that we can make sure no one is left behind in a table of crisis. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I now call upon